Okay, y'all, things are starting to get real wild in Diddy's legal drama. We already knew some big names would come up in this case, but there's one name nobody expected and it's sending shockwaves through the internet. Prince. Yes, that Prince. The legendary music icon Prince. His name is now being whispered in connection to Diddy's court case and people are freaking out. So here's what happened. Diddy, known for throwing some of the craziest parties in Hollywood, apparently had one of his biggest parties at Prince's house. Yeah, at Prince's house. Jason Lee, the media guy who's always got a tea, said the first Diddy party he went to was at Prince's house. He described it like something out of a movie. Tyrese was performing, Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher were swinging on actual swings. It was wild. But here's the part that really made people raise their eyebrows. No one was allowed to bring their own security, not one person. And that's where things start to get really interesting. Because think about it, Prince was known for being super private. He didn't mess around when it came to his face, his image, or his business. He was always in control of his surroundings. So, what if? Just what if Prince had cameras running the entire time during those parties? Some people believe he may have recorded everything, like literally everything. That would explain why he didn't actually show up to the parties himself. Maybe he was watching everything from behind the scenes, keeping tabs on what was going down inside his house. And now, rumors are flying that he might have kept that footage, or maybe, just maybe, he gave it to someone he trusted before he died. The idea alone is wild, but it's not totally out of character for Prince. He was always careful, always ahead of the game. He liked to be the one pulling the strings, not the one getting played. People on social media are saying his name could actually come up in court. Imagine if that footage really exists and it gets brought into the trial. That will change everything. But hold on, because the story even gets deeper. Prince passed away in 2016, and while the official report says it was from an accidental overdose, not everyone is buying that. Prince was known for living super clean. He was a vegan, didn't drink, didn't do drugs, and worked out regularly. So when news came out that he died from a fake Vicodin pill that was laced with fentanyl, a lot of fans were like, that doesn't make sense. Why would someone like Prince, who took such good care of himself, suddenly die from something like that? Don't forget to hit the like button, tap subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss an update from the Daily Podcast. It's been years since he passed, but now with his name popping up in this Diddy case, some people are starting to ask new questions like, what if Prince knew something big, something dangerous? What if he had dirt on powerful people and that made him a target? Because remember, Prince didn't just have beef with people like Diddy. He had been fighting major record label for years, especially Warner Bros. He wanted control over his music and his name. He literally changed his name to a symbol just to fight back against how the industry was treating him. He even said, I had to search deep within my heart and spirit and chose his spiritual well-being over fame.
Oh, no.
So now people are putting the pieces together. Diddy had a deal with Warner Music. Prince had problems with Warner. And Diddy threw wild no security parties at Prince's house. Is it all connected? Did Prince see something, record something, and is that why his name is now coming up? We don't have the full story yet, but what we do know is that this trial is turning into one of the biggest celebrity stories of the year.
What? This is a moment in history! Take a picture!
And if Prince really had footage of what went down at those parties, things are about to explode. But just when you thought it couldn't get more shocking, more names started to drop, and some of them straight up unexpected. Now let's talk about the jury selection in Diddy's trial, because this isn't just about Diddy and Prince anymore. It's becoming a huge web of celebrities, assistants, music execs, and even Hollywood actors.
Okay, we are cooked.
When the jury list came out, people were like, wait, what? Michelle Williams, Robert Downey Jr., Mike Myers, and Lauren London were all named. Like, what do they have to do with this case? That's what everyone's asking. Maybe they're just being considered for jury duty. Maybe they've got some kind of connection we don't fully understand yet. But the point is, the trial is bringing in people from all corners of the entertainment world. But then, there are names that totally make sense. People who've been directly tied to Diddy in the past, like Cassie, who started the whole chain reaction with her lawsuit. In that lawsuit, She didn't just say she was harmed by Diddy. She also said there were witnesses, people on Diddy's payroll, staff members, assistants, people who were there to clean up the mess afterward, literally. Cassie said they were the ones who delivered gifts to her after some of the worst nights, the ones who set up hotel rooms for what she called freak-offs. Yes, that's the actual word used. She said they even brought baby oil and Astroglide to the rooms. That paints a very clear picture of just how involved Diddy's inner circle was. And now, those same assistants could be called to testify. Imagine the things they saw, the things they did. If they speak up in court, the case could blow wide open. And that is just the beginning. Now, there's a man named Half Pierre who was also named in a separate lawsuit filed by a Jane Doe. According to the lawsuit, Half convinced the woman to fly from Detroit to New Jersey, where she says both he and Diddy assaulted her. Half isn't some random guy. He was part of Bad Boy Entertainment, Diddy's empire, and if he ends up in court, it's going to open another door into Diddy's alleged behavior and who helped him get away with it. And then there's Young Miami. She's not just a rapper or a public figure, she was reportedly on Diddy's payroll. And more than that, she was allegedly used to transport substances. What kind of substances? That's not fully clear yet. But you can imagine what kind of rumors that's falling online. If the prosecution decides to dig into that part of the story, things are going to get dark. And oh, let's not forget Dallas Austin. Now, his name surprised a lot of people. Dallas is mostly known as a producer, and he was a childhood friend of Kim Potter, Diddy's late partner and the mother of several of his children. People online have long questioned Kim's death. Some say it was natural, others say it wasn't. If Dallas gets pulled into this, he might have to talk about what he knew or what he suspects about what was happening behind the scenes. We're also hearing about Lorian Gibson, who used to work with Diddy on MTV's Making the Band. Back in 2007, she actually filed a police report saying that Diddy threatened her with a chair on set. A chair, y'all. That's not a minor thing. And while that happened years ago, it could still come back now that everything's being looked at under a microscope. Even Aubrey O'Day is in the mix. She's been one of the loudest voices supporting Cassie. She said Diddy made inappropriate advances towards her too, and since she worked closely with him during her Danity Kane days, she probably knows a lot more than she's even said publicly. And then there's Don Richard, another former Danity Kane member. She once sued Diddy too, saying that he insulted women on set, made her rehearse with no sleep, and that she saw him get physical with Cassie while he was high. That is a whole lot. And if she testifies, her words could carry major weight. One more thing before we move on, Michael B. Jordan, his name also came up. Now, he's not accused of anything, but remember, he was linked to Cassie around 2015 when she and Diddy were in an off-and-on relationship. Just like Kid Cudi, whose car got blown up, y'all, after he got close to Cassie. So the prosecution might bring in anyone Cassie was ever linked to just to show how far Diddy would go when he felt threatened. And this is just the middle of the story. There's still so much more that could come out in court. So many more names, so many more secrets. And Prince, he might not just have lent his house for a party, he might have known exactly what was going on behind those closed doors. And just when we thought things couldn't twist any further, boom, here comes Meek Mill. Yeah, Meek's name popped too, and people were not ready for that. Now, he hasn't said so much publicly, but insiders say his connection to Diddy could run deeper than just industry stuff. There's talk about secret parties, private jets, and favor trades between artists and execs. People are starting to wonder, was Meek just hanging around or was he involved in something way bigger? Then there's Stevie J. If you remember him from Love and Hip Hop or his music producer days, you already know this guy has history with Diddy. But now, the kind of history being talked about is wild. He's been named by multiple insiders as someone who handled things for Diddy, not just music deals, like real shady business. People are saying Stevie helped clean up scenes and move people around when things got out of control. It's the kind of stuff that turns a celebrity scandal into something darker. And let's not ignore Ja Rule. He was seen at one of those infamous parties people keep mentioning, the ones with phones locked away, guest lists kept super private, and rumors of behavior that would make headlines for years. Ja Rule hasn't been accused of anything, but his presence alone has made people look twice. Why was he there? Did he know what was happening? Or was it just another guest who didn't ask questions? And now it's time to talk about the bigger machine behind all of these, because Revolt TV is catching some heat too. That's the network Diddy started, and while it's known for promoting black culture and voices, some ex-employees are speaking out. They say they saw things, heard things. Some even claim they were warned not to talk. If these people testify, it could expose a whole other layer of control, one that goes beyond the parties and into media manipulation. Kid Cudi's name came back up again too, not just about the car being blown up. There are whispers that he might have had more run-ins with Diddy's circle than we thought. Some are saying he got threats, real ones, and that's not something prosecutors would take lightly if true. It could help build a pattern, showing how people close to Cassie, or even just friendly with her, ended up getting scared of or pushed out. And finally, for now, Justin Bieber. Now, this one shocked everyone. There's no public statement from him, but insiders keep bringing him up in conversations about parties at Diddy's house. Parties that happened when Justin was still a teenager. That's raising serious eyebrows, because if true, people are going to start asking questions about who was there, what was going on, and why someone so young was even involved. So yeah, these aren't just small names, these are big players in music, entertainment, and media. And every single one of them adds a new piece to this crazy puzzle. What they saw, what they knew, and what they'll admit in court, that's the real story everyone's waiting to hear. As this story continues to unfold, we'll be right here keeping you in the loop with every new twist. Thanks for watching and spending a few moments with us.